images, documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs, and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship, and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at
but to look at ways in which we can encourage people to stay in Nigeria.
Strengthening bilateral relations, British Prime Minister Theresa May on trade mission to Nigeria.
A subcommittee has been set up to look into all the details of the 143.
National Assembly Joint Committee on INEC establishes a subcommittee to analyze 2019 election budget breakdown for INEC. A new push to check transborder crimes as the Nigerian Air Force neutralizes bandits in Zamfara State. Good evening, this is NTA Network News. I am Muhammad Kuda Abubakar in Abuja. In Lagos, we have Elizabeth Omorui, and in Enugu, Bright Ebocho, while in Kaduna, Abdullahi Mohammed. Ahead of the visit of the British Prime Minister Theresa May to Africa, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Paul Arkwright, has announced activities during her visit. This was at a media briefing at the British High Commission in Abuja. Oyemi Ajayi reports.
This is the first time Prime Minister Theresa May will be visiting Africa, as well as the first time a British Prime Minister will be stepping on the soil of the sub-Saharan Africa since 2013. The Prime Minister will meet with President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday after visiting South Africa and end an African tour in Kenya. The British High Commissioner said the tour is to enable Britain continue to relate with the world and strengthen her relations with the world, especially in terms of trade after Brexit.
The UK is the second largest investor in Africa behind the US. We want to become the first investor in Africa.
Other issues expected to be discussed include security, trade, human trafficking and illegal migration, as well as Nigeria's 2019 general election, which the High Commissioner says is supposed to be free, fair and credible, adding that Britain is not supporting any candidate, but only supports a united Nigeria. The Prime Minister is expected to be in Lagos alongside a high-powered trade delegation, where she will also be meeting with Nigerian business community to discuss on ways to strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries. In Abuja, Oyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Nigeria is partnering with Niger Republic, France and the United Kingdom to tackle cross-border crimes. This was a fallout of a sideline meeting of the four countries at the regional conference on anti-human trafficking and smuggling of migrants held in Niamey, the Niger Republic's capital this year. Minister of Interior, in a statement signed by his press secretary, Isemen Osagbovo, noted that the partnership was initiated by the United Kingdom and France to strengthen collaboration with Nigeria and Niger Republic in the area of border management, intelligence sharing, and legal cooperation. The partnership, which seeks to strengthen cooperation among security agencies of the four countries, is expected to deliver on its objectives within the period of 12 to 36 months. Vice President Yemi Shibajo has called on institutions such as the Nigeria Bar Association to help the nation build a society of high moral standards. This was at a special session at the ongoing Nigeria Bar Association Annual General Conference holding in Abuja, with the theme Transition transformation and sustainable institutions. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
We're not going to allow a situation where the administration of the justice system is ineffective, because once it's ineffective, building a moral society is undermined almost,
The special dialogue session organized for the Vice President is to highlight Nigeria's economic recovery and growth plan. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo agrees that there is poverty in the land, but this, he says, informed the decision of government to embark on wealth creation. Vice President says there has been more of exportation as against importation of what the nation can produce. He cites other monetary policies that are in operation as government's determination to bring about a strong economy.
But I think we're yet to move the needle substantially. But I think a combination of what BOI, the central bank, is doing, a combination also of what we're doing in the agri sector with the Anchor Borrowers Program, and what the CBN has recently launched will substantially improve the whole area of lending to the real sector. But we must bring interest rates down to sub 10.
On sustaining institutions and enduring policies, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the failure to invest in infrastructure in the past is now being addressed. Institutions, he says, are about people, and more should be done by leaders to make them succeed. From the International Conference Center in Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy has been inaugurated with a mandate to work tirelessly to ensure the decongestion of Nigeria's prisons by advising the President on ex-convicts to be pardoned. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, SAN, who represented the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, at the inauguration of the 12-member committee, charged them to embark on prison visits nationwide to ascertain the inmates who deserve presidential pardon and reintegration into the society. Abubakar Malami, who is also the chairman of the committee, promised to work diligently within the 4-year term framework of decongesting the prisons.
I appreciate that the constitution of the committee by Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief will go a long way in bringing about a drastic reduction in the population of prisoners in the nation's prison system that has become a block of the nation's criminal justice system.
Members of the advisory committee are drawn from the Federal Ministry of Justice, the Nigerian Police Force, the National Human Rights Commission, and several others. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has received a petition from a group, Connected Development and Nigerian Young Professionals Forum, urging the Commission to begin investigation into the engineering, procurement, and construction of the Total Egina floating production storage offloading facility. The Chief Executive Officer of the Connected Developments, Hamzat Lawal, says the $3.8 billion project has not been able to meet its obligation, particularly that of providing employment to Nigerian youths.
Today we're here at the EFCC office to submit this petition, having in mind that with the confidence we have with this great institution, they would investigate this matter and ensure that young professionals would benefit from the local content law when we sign contracts with multinationals in the oil and gas sector.
We are also here as the custodian of anti-corruption fight in Nigeria.
I want to assure them that we will take this petition through the normal process through which we receive petition with the Commission. For us, this is merely an allegation, but we will subject it to test, and if it is worthy of investigation, the Commission will duly investigate it, and we'll get to know our findings in due course.
The National Assembly Joint Committee on INEC has established a subcommittee to analyze the 2019 election budget breakdown submitted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to the National Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Laimi Ali reports.
The Joint Committee had on Monday, after a closed-door meeting, adopted the over 140 billion naira supplementary budget for 2019 general elections submitted by President Muhammadu Buhari. The committee reconvened Tuesday for a clause-by-clause consideration of the budget breakdown submitted by INEC at a closed-door session, but later emerged to announce its decision to set up a subcommittee to look at the breakdown.
A subcommittee has been set up to look into all the details of the 143, and we are to reconvene tomorrow again at 4 o'clock to continue. So we do not have a report now until tomorrow by 4 when we have the details by the subcommittee.
We are interested parties as far as the electioneering process is concerned. So those who are thinking that what is happening is another delay or whatever, I think they are being mischievous. And I want to say very clearly that we are totally committed. We couldn't have just cut down our our recess. We believe Mr. President has submitted a very unambiguous letter, and we are totally committed to supporting Mr. President as far as the 2019 election is concerned.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The 2019 general election is about to witness a revolutionary invasion of women for elective positions. As wife of the president, Aisha Muhammad Buhari galvanizes cooperation among women groups and associations for active participation in their polls. Now, so Damien Eti reports that the senior special assistant to the president, Dr. Hajo Sani, represented the wife of the president at a meeting with stakeholders to strategize on how the goal can be achieved.
The low level of women's participation in politics is not only unsettling, but also disturbing, as there are only 7 female senators, 22 members in the House of Representatives, and only 6 female ministers out of 36. This percentage, reflecting only 13, is short of the 35% affirmative action binding on Nigeria. Hence the move by Mrs. Aisha Buhari to change the narrative. The convergence of these women at the instance of the wife of the president is to re-strategize for optimum results come 2019.
Women form the largest part of voters. As such, women's participation, women's involvement in any election determines the outcome.
We are here to talk on women issues across all the political parties. We are not here for any political party.
It's because we don't have quota, and most of the time, even the women that are more credible than some of the men win elections, they take it away from them with money politicking.
By pushing through the bottom-up approach, whereby people at the grassroots will adequately participate.
The Female Aspirant Summit is scheduled for Thursday, 30th of this month. In Abuja, Momso Damien Ati, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. Time now to take our first break. The news continues in a moment.
If you know it's go internet or follow for Twitter, you know it's not photo send or get it photo send. Now because you the use Palasa, your phone no the answer. See me see wahala. My brother, go get smartphone, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone. Phone when no go for your hand, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone. Phone when no fit take selfie. Drop that Palasa phone. No be correct phone, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone.
My people, no let Palasa phone fall your hand this year. Kia go buy 3G or 4G smartphone, or bring that your phone conjoin MTN, and then go summer you with 100% awoof data bam on top every data bundle way you buy for the next 3 months. So drop that Palasa now, change your levels so that you go fit enjoy fast internet on the network we get data for everywhere for we country Nigeria. This offer day open to new and old MTN customers.
The National President of National Council for Women Societies, NCWS, and the Women in Politics Forum, in collaboration with the Office of the Wife of the President, invites stakeholders to attend the summit to discuss issues to support women aspirants. The summit is scheduled to take place as follows. Date, Thursday, August 30th, 2018. Venue, National Center for Women Development. Time, 12 noon prompt. Special guest and keynote speaker, Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammad Buhari, wife of the President. The summit will be attended by chairmen of all political parties, state governors, traditional and religious leaders, international and national organizations, women organizations, and other stakeholders. Dr. Hajo Sani, Senior Special Assistant to the President, for wife of the President, announcer.
Bayes University is a fully licensed university operating since 2011 and has grown to have 32 accredited programs in 6 faculties. This includes computer and applied sciences, management and social sciences, engineering, environmental sciences, law, and basic medical sciences. The university also offers postgraduate programs and foundation courses in a conducive learning environment with modern teaching facilities and high-quality national and international staff. Bayes University graduates have either progressed into respectable career positions or have obtained postgraduate degrees from different parts of the world with distinctions. Admissions for 2018-2019 academic session is ongoing. Call or visit www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
How may I help you?
We are staff of the National Population Commission.
Please come in.
Thank you, sir.
Honey!
Yes, sir.
Please come with the kids.
Good day.
The government has sent people to collect information about us.
The National Population Commission and the Federal Ministry of Health will commence the 2018 Nigeria Demographic and Health Survey in selected communities of all the local government areas of the Federation. The survey will sample housing and households, all women and men aged 14 to 59, and also children aged 0 to 5. This survey will be carried out by the pricking of fingers for lab testing and questionnaires for malaria, anemia, HIV and AIDS, fistula, female genital cutting, domestic violence, pregnancy-related and child mortality, amongst others. The exercise will help the government to plan for better housing and improved healthcare facilities. This message is brought to you by the National Population Commission and the Ministry of Health with the support of the USAID and others.
19 naira. Now 10 naira remain, oh boy. Hey, 10 naira. 10 naira, 10 naira.
Bet with as little as 50 naira on wakabet.ng. Play more games for more wins. And never forget, your first bet is free.
Log on to wakabet.ng. Register to claim your free bet of 50 naira and be a winner today. Wakabet. Now your hand is day.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant. To achieve our creed as we promise, we shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. The All Progressive Congress, APC, has described the allegation by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, on the operations of the NNPC as uncalled for, since the issue of open bid for by the organization had been put in place to ensure transparency in the process. In a statement, the APC's National Publicity Secretary, Yekini Nabena, says in the last 3 years, there have been massive and verifiable reforms in the sales, marketing, and general management of Nigeria's various grades of crude oil. He noted that the NNPC had been remitting the monthly sales from the crude oil based on the monthly performance, as dictated by the international market forces. To this end, Mr. Nabena says the reform in the oil sector is yielding results, adding that such positive results are being used to address social and infrastructural needs of Nigerians. The Air Task Force of Operation Dirom Mikia has neutralized several bandits at Bayan Rua and Rugu Forest in Zamfara State. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, announced that the attack on Bayanrua was executed following an encounter with a notorious group of bandits by ground troops while conducting clearance operations. The Air Force Air Task Force, the statement disclosed, dispatched a ground attack aircraft and an attack helicopter to support ground forces of Sector 3 to inflict maximum damage on the bandits. Similarly, armed reconnaissance missions reported the presence of some bandits at a settlement east of Hayin Al-Haji, with some warehouse deep inside Rugu forest used as hideouts on bandits. Accordingly, the warehouse and criminals operating in the hideout were attacked by the Nigerian Air Force combat helicopters, leading to the destruction of the makeshift buildings and neutralization of several bandits. Still on security, the Nigerian Army has reiterated its commitment to strengthen the security architecture to boost the fight against all forms of criminalities in the country. The General Officer commanding 82 Division, Nigerian Army, Major General Emmanuel Kabuk, announced this in Calabar during his familiarization visit to Cross River State. Udwak Etim has details.
Major General Kabuk, who was in Cross River State, one of the states under his division to flag off combat proficiency competition in Calabar, also stopped over at the government house.
There are key concepts in this vision, talking about the concept of professionalism, the concept of responsiveness, and of course, doing all this consistent with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Governor Ben Ayade listed some security challenges in the state to include interstate and communal war, cultism among others, and appealed to the federal government to provide special security fund to states with border crimes.
Special security vote provision have to be made, not just for Cross River State, but for all states with international borders, for all states that have a lot of international crises.
The General Officer commanding 82 Division was accompanied on the visit by the Commander 13 Brigade Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Charles Ekulide, in Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTA News.
Executive Secretary Tertiary Education Fund, Dr. Abdullahi Bichi Baffa, has assured that TED Fund will not relent in carrying out its mandate for sustainable development of Nigeria's tertiary education system and related institutions. The Executive Secretary said this while receiving the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Boratai, who was on a visit in appreciation of the fund's intervention into the Army educational programs. Abdullahi Musa Suleja has details.
Before the recent establishment of the Nigerian Army University Bureau by the Federal Executive Council, the Nigerian military has been what the Executive Secretary described as a TED Fund member through the Nigerian Defense Academy, Nigerian Military School, and Air Force Institute of Technology. Dr. Bichi Baffa said to further encourage the Army in acquiring more educational technology in fighting insurgency and keeping Nigeria safe. As soon as the 2018 intervention guidelines are approved, the fund will not hesitate to release the 2 billion naira takeoff grant for Nigerian Army University Bureau, stressing that it is incumbent on the fund to uplift the technological capacity of the armed forces.
We are very much committed to ensuring that this university will grow very quick, very fast, and we are going to ensure that everything that TED Fund can do to accelerate the growth of the Nigerian Army University so that it will be at par with its peers. We will be able to do that.
Appreciating the government for already conducting implementation plan for the actualization of the Nigerian Army University Bureau, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Boratai, commended TED Fund for its intervention in the military education institutions program nationwide. He pledged the Army's close supervision of the fund when released.
Warfare has transformed greatly and it requires more scientific approach.
General Boratai said the Army is carrying out processes to assess the fund, promising to introduce studies on military technology and innovations in the university curricula. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is collaborating with the United States Bureau of Population, Refugees and Migration on the repatriation of Nigerians who are victims of insurgency in Chad Republic, Cameroon and Niger Republic. Director General of the agency, Mustafa Maihija, stated this in Abuja when he received the United States Deputy Assistant Secretary, Bureau of Population, Refugees and Migration. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
Worried by this development, the Nigerian government under President Buhari initiated a collaborative effort to repatriate Nigerians taking refuge in these countries. Although the repatriation effort has not been without challenges, ranging from security and other man-made difficulties. The cheering news, however, is that a reasonable number of Nigerians have returned home. This high-level discussion between NEMA and the U.S. agency on new
addressing these challenges and create the conditions for the sustainable return of the displaced population.
More than 30 communities in the northeast have been liberated by the military. Ilyasu Aliakubu, NTA News.
Christian leaders in the northern part of Nigeria have decried the spate of security challenges confronting the region and called on the federal and state governments to take proactive measures to end the excesses of criminal elements. This was at the opening of a two-day peace summit organized by the Christian Association of Nigeria Northern Region holding in Jos. Caleb Gochin reports.
The need for special intervention by relevant government authorities, unity of purpose by Christians, and a commitment for peaceful coexistence by all citizens were the recurring statements by speakers at the occasion.
We are expected to play a critical role in the development of our societies, states, and countries of the world, judging from what we have seen from happenings in different countries, including Nigeria.
Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong commended the organizers and reiterated his commitment to peace.
This conversation, I dare to say, will be robust and enriched only as we seek to be part of the solution rather than being part of the problem.
Secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, cautioned against embracing and disseminating false information, which have been the major causes of the tension in the land.
But as citizens of this country and as Christians in the northern part of the country, we have a corresponding responsibility to ensure that we play our part.
Earlier, chairman of the event, General Yakubu Gawan, represented by former military administrator of Plateau State, Rear Admiral Samuel Atikum, said the region has suffered from the hands of the enemies of the nation, but with prayers and commitment, God will restore sanity again. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the Buhari administration's favorable policies have continued to attract foreigners into the country for tourism purposes. The minister stated this in Abuja when he received contestants of the Miss Polo International Beauty Pageant scheduled for Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
The minister, who said Nigeria is fast becoming the destination of choice for international tourists, hinged the attraction on the people's hospitality as the country's global rating is on the all-time high, given the present administration's success in creating a conducive atmosphere and the provision of infrastructure such as roads, power and rail.
The federal government, I want to assure you, will continue to pursue those policies such as improving on security, improving on infrastructure. Our people will remain hospitable so that you will be able to attract more and more tourists.
The minister recalled that before the beauty pageant, Nigeria has hosted high-profile international events such as the United Nations World Tourism Organization's Commission for Africa meeting, as well as the International Press Institute's World Congress that attracted journalists from around the world. The visit of the French President Emmanuel Macron is another testimony of how the world yearned to visit Nigeria. President of the Miss Polo International Beauty Pageant, Ibife Alufohai, explained that the pageantry is not just about beauty queens in their individual countries, but a platform for a union. She used the opportunity to express gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari for his commitment in keeping to his campaign promises. Some of the contestants spoke.
I feel like a second home because each and every people, the person who was receiving me from the airport to the person who was dropping me to the hotel, each and every small to big person, they treated me so well.
I'm not disappointed. Abuja is very, very beautiful, I have to say.
Contestants from 17 countries across 5 continents are taking part in the contest. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
For more on NTA Network News, let's join Elizabeth in Lagos. Hello, Elizabeth, over to you.
Nice to see you, Kudu, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. International Breweries PLC Gateway Plant, Bara in Ogun State, has been inaugurated. The brewery, which is part of the AB InBev Global Group, produces beverages in the beer and malt categories. Paul Umukago has details.
The brewery, which sits on a large expanse of land spanning 45 hectares, is expected to boost socio-economic activities in the area. Management of International Breweries PLC, brand owners of Budweiser, Trophy, Hero, Eagle Stout, Grand Malt, and Better Malt says the company will encourage the development of small and medium-scale enterprises in the area. Its presence has also created 600 direct jobs with another 2,000 indirect employment.
As a company, we are committed to developing a sustainable future for generations to come. And to this, we trust the support of our distributors, our suppliers, our customers.
Our people are at the heart of our business. Their ability to dream big and come together is what differentiates our company.
Our commitment to this 90 billion naira, $250 million brewery demonstrates our confidence in the future prospects for Nigeria.
President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, described the Gateway Plant of International Breweries PLC as one of the gains of government policy on foreign direct investment.
We will continue to provide a more secure business environment and commit more to these ideals in the interests of the economic development of Nigeria.
The commissioning of this plant is a symbolic demonstration of the success story of the commitment of Mr. President Muhammad Buhari.
International Breweries PLC is the 6th largest crude company on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The Gateway plant is reputed to be the largest not just in Nigeria, but also in the West African region. From Bara in Ogun State, Paul Umukago, NTA News.
The Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, has urged the contractor, China Civil Engineering Company, to expedite action on the pace of work on the Lagos-Ibadan Standard Gauge Rail project to ensure its timely delivery. The minister gave the directive during the monthly inspection of the project. Jane Ujoku reports.
The Transport Minister, Rotimi Amechi, disclosed that construction work on the project has reached an advanced stage, adding that the rains have impeded the pace of work. He, however, urged the contractors to increase the speed of work as soon as the dry season sets in.
They claim they've laid 12 kilometers of rail. So you see this, you say, oh, wonderful idea. But 12 kilometers is not the same as 156 kilometers. They also say that before December, they will have at least gotten to Abuja and beyond. What we still expect that they should please do 156 kilometers before the end of December.
Managing Director, Nigerian Railway Corporation, Mr. Fides Okeria, explained that all the bottlenecks, such as obstructions on the right-of-way, have been addressed, adding that the pace of work is bound to increase.
We are moving ahead. I think they are trying the right-of-way and the station. We are talking of moving from one point to another.
The Lagos-Ibadan Standard Gauge Railway project, when completed, is expected to provide faster and convenient traveling experience for both passengers and freight. It will also create job opportunities and boost economic activities along the Lagos-Ibadan corridor. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
In order to actualize a society devoid of gender irregularity, stakeholders have been charged to collectively imbibe the spirit of togetherness through strengthened institutions that will enhance the equal participation of women and the girl child. These were the views of speakers at the Sustainable Development Goals monthly dialogue organized by the United Nations Information Center in Lagos. Nenrot Nina Musa has details.
The topic, Achieving Gender Equality in Nigeria, its challenges and prospects, was the focus, and key holders discussed the current realities on ground relating to issues of diverse forms of violence perpetrated against women and girls in both public and private spheres.
I shared a picture of a 16-year-old in Malala. We all know her. She spoke up in her country, but she's essentially spoke up for 66 million children around the world.
And we've got to find a way to continue to ensure that, you know, gender equality is not even dealt with as a standalone, but it's mainstream into everything we do.
The discussants were all of the opinion that there's need to understand the importance of human rights, hence advocated a revolution in democratic governance.
Our women must always learn to speak out, and they must ensure that they effectively compete with their male counterparts.
To further accelerate the actualization of the Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030, monthly dialogues such as this, key players say, should be prioritized as it will enhance communication and interaction between participants. In Lagos, Nerutnina Musa, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this time out. Stay with us.
Hot chocolate 3-in-1, a delicious combination of rich cocoa and wholesome goodness of milk. Just add hot water to get an instant chocolatey treat. Cadbury Hot Chocolate 3-in-1. Just add hot water.
Your perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. Every day, 16,000 children under the ages of 5 and thousands of adults die from infectious diseases. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily in unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilets, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes. Germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's One Capful for surface cleaning in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol Sure, endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Use Dettol Skin Jelly, which protects against germs for a healthy, smooth skin every
Play more games for more wins. And never forget, your first bet is free.
Log on to wakabet.ng. Register to claim your free bet of 50 naira and be a winner today. Wakabet. Now your hand is day.
Winning in hot and dry conditions is hard. Causes the body to sweat, which attracts germs that are easily passed from one person to another. What keeps you so cool, man? Dettol Cool combines Dettol's protection and an invincible icy feel. For super cool confidence, use Dettol Cool.
Dettol soap is now also available for 100 naira only.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Thank you for remaining with us. The increasing wave of malnutrition in children is becoming a source of worry to the federal government. The National Council on Nutrition, at its meeting held Tuesday at the Presidential Villa, is developing a national strategy that will create adequate structure to contain the problem. State House correspondent Jide Onifadi reports.
This concern by the federal government has led to the putting in place a national policy on nutrition that has been approved by the National Economic Council. And based on the policy, the National Council on Nutrition, chaired by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, was established. This is the fourth full meeting of the council, with Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, in attendance. Also in attendance are members from the Ministries of Health, Agriculture, Budget and National Planning, and some development partners.
The first structure that we have in place is the National Council, which is in place. So we hope also to be able to convince the states that also the states need to have a state-level council for nutrition, local government council level for nutrition, as well as community or ward-level councils on nutrition. The problem is a complex one, it's multifaceted. So each of these councils will have a different mix of stakeholders to ensure that the problem is addressed from different phases. Yeah.
So much has been done by the administration to address the issue of malnutrition in children in the country. Apart from improving school attendance, the school feeding program and other social investment programs are some of the ways government is tackling the menace.
Children die and we think it's a medical problem, but they die because they are malnourished. And some of these are simple things like exclusive breastfeeding for 2 years, which are even prescribed by Islam. So it's about communication. It's about knowing the right diet. It's about having access to education, having access to the nutritious food. I believe what we're going to do now is work on a communication strategy, also encourage the states to set up structures to do with nutrition.
A report of the Minister of Budget and National Planning shows the enormity of this problem and the importance of acting quickly, having a budget, having a structure, and having a commitment. In the State House, Jide Onifate, NTA News.
Developing fiscal policy in artisanal mining in focus as excess oil revenues rise following improved global prices. Nigerian is our guide on business news.
Experts in the mining sector are calling on the federal government to develop a fiscal regime for the artisanal and small-scale mining sector to curtail revenue loss to the nation and enhance environmental safety. Leah Katung-Babatunde reports that they are also requesting the host communities to be carried out.
Health issues associated with mining.
In a related development, Nigeria's excess oil revenue has increased from $48.3 million to $58 million per day as international oil prices leap to $76 per barrel Monday from $72. The federal government had benchmarked its 2018 budget earnings to $51 and 2.3 million barrel oil output. Now, from the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the bulls emerged again on Tuesday as the index gained 0.58% to close at 35,516 points. Hallmark Insurance, Stanbic and Mayor Baker were the most active to boost market turnover. That wraps up business news for this hour. Good evening. I am Amina Nujay.
As part of efforts at boosting the three-crop subsector of the agricultural value chain, the Ondo State government has established a cocoa plantation at Ijugbere in Onu local government area of the state. The state governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, says aside boosting the three-crop subsector, the initiative will enable youths to be engaged productively. Tony Baturi has the report.
The project that will be on 2,000 hectares of land, in which 35 hectares have been planted with improved cocoa seedlings, also has a seedling production center that has over 450,000 seedlings ready to feed the plantation and for distribution to new generation of young cocoa farmers across the state. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu affirmed that the Cocoa Revolution project of the present administration is worth investing in view of the fact that its improved seedlings has 18 months for fruiting.
The president, that is President Muhammadu Buhari, had always felt that, look, there must be a cocoa revolution so that we can really, again, try as much as possible and struggle to be where, if we cannot get to where we used to be, at least be one of the leading cocoa producers in the world.
Addressing people in the various farm settlements on the road leading to the plantation, Governor Akeredolu promised that work will soon begin on the farm road so as to make their farm produce easily transported to nearby markets. In Akure, Tony Batire, NTA News.
Ekiti State is set to witness tremendous turnaround in terms of welfare and infrastructure development. The governor-elect Kayode Fayemi stated this while he paid a courtesy visit on the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, to engage in strategic partnership with the ministry in rebuilding Ekiti State.
We believe that we could not just ask for more, but also engage in strategic partnerships. We're a rural state, we're an agricultural belt, and there are things that we believe that we can actually ask for targeted response from the federal ministry.
The real economy, to the farmers, the working class people in Ekiti, and that sits very well with our mini-grid policy of not depending only on the grid to reach the rural areas because it becomes more expensive to do so.
The Minister of Power, Works and Housing reiterated President Muhammadu Buhari administration's commitment towards delivery of the dividends of democracy to all the nooks and crannies of the country. Bright in Enugu has more on network news. Over to you, Bright.
Kudu and welcome to Enugu. Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ogwuanyi has appealed to the federal government to recruit more police officers to ensure crime is reduced to the barest minimum in the country. The governor was speaking when he received a delegation from the Police Service Commission at Government House, Enugu. Ijoma Ogweke has more.
Governor Ogwuanyi, while commending President Muhammadu Buhari for constituting a new board of the Police Service Commission, assured that the state government is ready to partner the board. The governor appreciated the Nigerian police for its efforts in fighting in the state.
Pledge our cooperation and support to the commission towards the effective discharge of its important duties.
The chairman of the Police Service Commission, represented by Austin Brimo, appreciated the governor for assisting the Nigerian Police Enugu Command through provision of funds and facilities, which have resulted in a drop in crime rate in the state. The importance of the security of lives and property in the country, he said, cannot be overemphasized. Hence, the need to energize and refocus the Nigerian police force.
You supported the police training college in Oji River with the sum of 10 million, and you also made a personal donation of 1 million, and this have gone a long way towards uplifting the morale and ensuring that that place is properly managed.
The new board, inaugurated in July 2018, is an independent body saddled with the responsibility of receiving complaints from the public in its operational offices. In Enugu, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
The National Human Rights Commission, in collaboration with some NGOs, have set up a special investigative panel to conduct public hearings to investigate and determine cases of alleged human rights violations by the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SAS. Nkiru Onyejesi reports that the panel is headed by Justice Chinedozie Agumba.
The public hearing, which is the first of its kind in the state, is aimed towards enabling the Human Rights Commission seek for accountability where there is evidence to indicate that any officer or officials of SAS have been involved in acts amounting to the human rights violation in the course of carrying out their law enforcement duties. The Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, Tony Ojukwu, noted that due to various reports in the print and social media alleging gross violation of human rights of citizens by men and officers of SAS, the attention of the Vice President was drawn as he directed the overhaul of SAS, leading to the conduct of these investigations into activities of SAS.
This hearing is to give opportunity.
Justice Chinedozie Agumba to hear from the complainants and their counsels. The public hearing is expected to last for 3 days. In our Nkiru Onyejesi, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Enugu. It's now time to join our Kaduna Network Center for more stories. Hello, Abdullahi.
Good to see you, Bright, and thanks for joining us here in Kaduna. The federal government will reactivate disaster response units in various military formations across the country to accelerate response to emergency incidences. Sleban Abdullah Rigachko reports that the Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, Mustafa Yunus Mehaja, stated this during a visit to a military formation in Kaduna.
Disaster response units were provided across the 6 geopolitical zones in the various military formations with the aim of providing quick response to emergencies in the military environment and civil populace in collaboration with the National Emergency Management Agency.
The National Disaster Response Plan make a provision for military support where necessary. That is the reason for the establishment of disaster response unit.
Just this afternoon, I was also nursing the idea of having scuba diving training with the Nigerian Air Force in case we have rivers taking over our settlements. We should be able to have scuba divers that will enter and rescue persons that are consumed by the river.
NEMA's Director General Mustapha Maihaja led officials of the agency on a courtesy visit to the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State to felicitate with the state government over the recent flood that affected homes and displaced people. The Deputy Governor acknowledged the quick response by NEMA and other emergency agencies. He said government will dredge River Kaduna to facilitate free flow of water and called on people to desist from erecting houses on flood plains. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun, NTA News, Rigachikun.
And still in the government house in Kaduna, as the 2019 general election drew near, Secretary General, Anglican Communion Worldwide and Chairman Kaduna Peace Commission, Most Reverend Josiah Ido-Ferron, has called on politicians and all other stakeholders to imbibe democratic values and conduct all campaigns in peace and tranquility. The religious leader gave the advice during the inauguration of local government peace committees in Kaduna.